With the nation, Emefiele launches fresh plot against President-elect Tinubu. Governors take tough stance on Naira scarcity. Government of Ondo government, we pay 24 billion Naira yearly to pensioners. OAU shifts resumption to March 21st. Foreign portfolio investment post first gain in 5 years. Business adopt new tactics to stay afloat of cash crisis. 53 train and bus accident victims out of hospital, says Lagos State. And 35 killed in Kaduna casino attacks. Okay, which story are we starting with? Major headline?
No, not major headline. Businesses that are exploring new ways to bypass the adverse effect of the Naira redesign policy and also find a way to mitigate post-election risks. So we know that there's been anxiety over the outcome of the elections, which happened, but then it subsided, and Nigerians are now beginning to adjust and reduce, to the reduced currency issues that we're having, the cash crunch. So according to the nation, it said many businesses in the Federal Capital Territory are settling for payments using the POS. Also, the hitches of the electronic platforms are also subsided, and so people are able to make transfers. There were customers, business owners who were interviewed, one of them, Nancy, and she manages a street food establishment that serves fish, noodles, and in Gudu district. And she was saying that business is gradually coming back to normal. Initially, after they had a break just before the presidential elections and after the presidential elections, but now the patronage is gradually lifting. They're able to make their payments, though there's still no cash. They also interviewed a lot of other businesses around that area, and they had the same thing to say. Even the traders in the market are also finding ways to take these transactions. Some are using their family members' accounts just to make sure that people are able to buy product, and say they are hoping that the new presidential elect, when he is sworn into office, will be able to change some of these policies so that businesses can flourish.
Right. Okay.
Major headline?
Major headline in the nation is a very controversial one. So, according to the nation, Emefiele begins a new plot to take over Lagos from Tinubu. And they said that he's conspiring. This fresh plot is conspiring with the Labour Party and the Labour Party governorship candidate in Lagos to do this. They said he gave out 500 million Naira in new notes to shore up the campaign of the Labour Party in Lagos. They said that there's a source who called it Oga's own contribution to the takeover Lagos from Tinubu's influence, now that he has become president-elect and will be relocating to Abuja. And he said that is also, this I must take very carefully, that he is the governor of the central bank, who hails from Delta North, is said to be an enthusiastic promoter of the Igbo agenda to install our own in Alausa come May 29. And to perfect the plot, the cooperation of a senior military officer in command position in Lagos is said to have been secured by Emefiele. And the commander is expected to provide military muscle to the agenda to take over Lagos.
All of this according to the
nation. He said he's also provided to cover for the massive rigging that was reported in Amu Odofi, Ojo, Alaba, and Iba areas for the party in Lagos. This is a very serious one, and I hope that the authorities look into this report.
All right, so the Nigeria's foreign portfolio investment status has witnessed a major turnaround since 2018 in 5 years. According to them, the yearly inflows outweighs the inflows for the first 5 years. Says for the first time in 5 years, actually. Latest annual trading data on the FPI show that foreign investors bought more Nigerian stocks than they sold last year. According to the transaction, which was ended 2022, it says it had a surplus of 12.29 billion naira as against the deficit of 24 billion back in 2021. This was coordinated by the Nigerian Exchange, including transactions from nearly all custodians and capital market operators, and is widely regarded as a credible measure for the FPI. This is good because when people always use the blanket statement that, oh, all the foreign investors are leaving Nigeria, nobody wants to invest in Nigeria, this is telling you that more investors have invested in the last 5 years. They have surplus investment more than we had in 2018.
Let me take the story of NDLEA, that's the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency. They intercepted in the airport, Lagos Airport in Ikeja, intercepted via intelligence 11 1.9 kilograms of heroin and 500 grams of skunk. It was concealed in a deep freezer. And it came in from South Africa via Ethiopian airline through Addis Ababa. The agency sniffer dog were able to locate these illicit drugs that were hidden in the cargo and identified it within the deep freezer that was brought in. Also, 4 suspects that were displayed in the newspaper played active role in the movement of these drugs, and a truck driver has been arrested for connection with this seizure. So that thumbs up to NDLEA. Another thing that happened within the same airport was the fact that a woman called Aigbedion Philomena was going to Italy via Addis Ababa through Ethiopian airline again, and she hid drugs, 1.2 kilogram of tramadol capsules inside her bag, hidden within body creams that were wrapped in gifts as gifts to give people, but they were able to intercept and catch that. They also listed a lot of other things that they were able to get. A Camry in Lagos that was carrying drugs, skunk weighing 17 kilograms. Suspects were also arrested, and their names are just Benjamin Oluwatobiloba Ajayi, both 37 and 48 respectively, were arrested carrying the 17 kilograms of skunk with a Toyota Camry in Lagos last Thursday.
Okay, moving on to the Punch. Governors give Malami Emefiele Tuesday ultimatum to obey Supreme Court. Picture here of one of the victims of the accident that happened in Lagos. My daughter preparing for masters in the UK before train crash, says that. Sacked lecturer, Senate threatens to stop UI funding. Anger as gunmen kill 35 in Katsina and Kaduna. Adamu's fate, National Assembly leadership top agenda as senators-elect meet Tinubu. Beavers reset ends today. INEC promises results transmission. No going back on nationwide protest, says LP, and defend headquarters mom as Nigeria drops in global military ranking. All right. What story are we starting with?
The major headline. Yeah. So state governments, which sued the federal government on the Naira redesign policy, have given the Attorney General of the Federation and the Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, SAN, and the Central Bank of Nigeria Governor Godwin Emefiele till Tuesday to comply with the order of the Supreme Court on the currency. The state governments are threatening to file contempt charges against the top officials on Tuesday if they fail to obey the Apex Court, which ordered that the 1,000 Naira, 500 and 200 should be in circulation alongside the new notes till December 31st. Now, it's been over 1 week after the court handed down the order. The Attorney General of the Federation, the CBN, have not said anything about the verdict, and so the silence has emboldened most Nigerian businesses to reject the money. There's also another report that said if you go to the banks now, you see that they've loaded some of the old notes in the ATMs, but Nigerians are not agreeing to take that money. And so one of the things they said why they could not go back to court immediately to file against them for not saying anything about the verdict or not complying with the order was that they were waiting for the certified true copy, that's the CTC, of the order. But now they have given it to the Attorney General of the Federation. If they don't say anything about it, they will go back to court tomorrow. If the CBN governor does not say anything about this today, they'll go back to court tomorrow and sue the federal government and the CBN and the AGF as well again.
Yeah, that's how we strengthen the system.
One of the victims of the accident that happened in Lagos, her name was Oreoluwa Aina. Her father was speaking to an interview to a reporter in Punch, and it was really such a painful interview to read. He was saying that his daughter actually had plans to do her master's in the UK. She was finished her university, NYSC, and the reason why she was in that Lagos State staff bus is because of this cashless policy. She didn't have cash, so she decided to go on the free journey with the Lagos State government staff bus, and that's where, unfortunately, she met her death. He was quite pained at her death, and he has asked that the government do some kind of a re-evaluation of all our drivers, especially those carrying quite a number of passengers. The way they take seriously the pilots who fly planes, they should also take seriously those who are driving any of the buses, especially government buses, and they must be having keen interest in the safety of the people. It was such a painful thing to read. I mean, he said that although he said that he observed the facility, and he was actually very hurt to see that many people died in that accident. This is a really painful situation, and I feel bad, but I'm happy that the government is doing a lot to see what they can do to ensure this doesn't happen again.
The UI as an institution, the University of Ibadan, I hope that they have an option for funding because the Senate is threatening to stop their funding. The Chairman Senate Committee on Ethics, Privileges and Public Petitions, Ayo Akinye, has threatened the Senate that he may direct the Ministry of Finance not to release funds to the university for the 2023 budget. This is because the Senate Committee has, tried to get the university to reinstate a female lecturer, Dr. Adenike Ogushe, whose appointment was terminated by the university. She went to court, and the court ruled that her removal from appointment, from the sack from the university was wrong, it was unethical, and they ordered that she be reinstated. She tried to get the reinstatement years after the judgment. She couldn't, and so she petitioned the Senate. The Senate looked into her removal and summoned the VC of the University of Ibadan, who refused to come over allegations of conspiracy and victimization of Ms. Ogushe, and he refused to show up and also refused to reinstate her 7 years after. So the Senate are saying, since the university and its authorities are acting as if they are above the law, the Senate will have to wield a strong...
It's already concluded, which is why the election was postponed from March 11th to March 18th, so that they can reconfigure the beavers. Some states are finished, but by the end of work today, all states would have finished resetting their beavers. They also mentioned that no sensitive material has been compromised, while some states had already started moving sensitive materials. Immediately, the election was postponed on Thursday last week. Everybody that was moving the sensitive material had returned those materials back to CBN to be for protection. They also mentioned that the issues that happened with the IREV, that upload was difficult, has been resolved, and so the result, said the polling unit result to be submitted on the IREV portal, and even though the issues happened in 25th of February election, all those issues have been fixed, which is why the beavers was reset. So we're looking forward to INEC is saying that we should look forward to the next election on the 18th of March to be each free.
Saturday.
All right, Daily Sun, presidential election. Atiku PDP battle INEC over beavers. Senators-elect favor Southeast for Senate President. Zango Kataf killings, death toll hits 17. Gunmen kill 17 in Kaduna, Ebonyi. Ex-Boko Haram fighter, traditional ruler, 35 others arrested for drug trafficking. Naira redesign, ACF angry with Buhari. Nigeria's first female senator, Franca Afegbua, dies at 79. Ohaneze solidly behind Obi to recover mandate. Let me take the killing that happened in Zango Kataf local government of Kaduna State. The death toll has risen to 17, according to the Daily Sun reports. According to the reports also, there's been an ongoing battle in the community where we're having herders being attacked by the locals, and locals having been allegedly reported to have poisoned some of the cows, having issues with farmers being attacked. And so there was a bit of retaliation where a villager was killed, but the headsmen now came to retaliate. And these are now led to about 17 who have been killed so far in the community. The chairman of the local government, Mr. Zimba, has condemned the attack, describing it as barbaric. And he has also instructed that investigations must unravel the perpetrators behind these attacks and then brought to book as soon as possible. But I'm happy that calm has been restored to the community. But these are, according to the reports also, these are long-standing communal clashes that has been happening and been resolved and been managed. But unfortunately, this one now went out of hand where more of 17 people were killed in the outcome.
Let me take Franca Afegbua. So Senator Franca Afegbua from Oreoluwa Aina, Edo North. She was the first female senator in Nigeria in 1983. She died yesterday, March 12, in her home, and the family are yet to announce burial arrangements. But, very soon they will do that. She was from a native of Oreoluwa town in Esako, East local government of the old Bendel state and now Edo state. Her political journey was cut short by the military after 3 months of assuming office as a senator for the Bendel North.
Okay, back to NDLEA again. They arrested a rehabilitated ex-fighter of the Boko Haram terror group, Alayi Madu, and the traditional ruler of Kajola, a border community between Ondo and Edo State, Bale Akiola Adebayo. They were among 37 persons arrested over 2.2 tons of illicit drugs seized by the agency at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport in Ikeja. And this was also as a result of the raids that happened across 12 states in the past week. So they said one of the reasons they are doing this is to try and mop up illicit drugs in the community and across the country. And according to the story, they said in March 10, they stormed Kajola Forest in Kajola community. That's the border town, where they destroyed 3 cannabis farms measuring about over 39 hectares. They said the owner of the farm claimed to be the Bale of Kajola, Akiola Adebayo, who was aged 35 years old, and he was arrested on the farm at about 2:30 a.m., while other suspects believed to be his workers were also arrested alongside him. They mentioned their names here. And they still went ahead to find the rehabilitated Boko Haram person who has surrendered in 2021 to the Nigerian army. That was also picked up and arrested because they found him with drugs. Thank you to NDLEA for the work that they are doing. We just need to see that people are, paying attention to what is happening.
So I want to take a story from the Arewa Constitutive Forum. They are angry with the President Muhammadu Buhari, saying that his decision not to comply with the Supreme Court order is going to lead to chaos. They said 10 days ago, the Supreme Court held that the President has breached the Constitution in the way he issued a directive to the Central Bank for a redesign of the Naira without consulting with the National Council of States and the Federal Executive Council, and went further to say that while it would be remiss of them not to let the President know that they've supported the President for a long time. This statement was issued by the Secretary General Murtala Aliyu. And he said the President is under oath to defend the Constitution of Nigeria, and his long-term supporters, they must let him know that this, whatever benefits the redesign of the Naira has, it's outweighed by the damage, and he should maintain his credentials as a stickler for democracy and rule of law. And apart from that, there's a lot of crisis, and there might be anarchy, and there's a lot of disorder that might happen if it is not complied with. They feel 10 days is enough time for the President to comply with the Supreme Court's order, and generally worried about what will happen if that isn't done right now.
Vanguard, Tinubu bids to form government of national unity. MAN, market operators, others list agenda for incoming government. NUT, NANS, NAPTAN, others set agenda for Tinubu education sector. Train bus disaster, remains of core member buried amid tears in Lagos. We won't forget or attack victim, says Akeredolu. Leadership tussle, hoodlum sack Undo monarch from palace. Gunmen kill 36 in Kaduna, Katsina. Alcohol will destroy you, Atiku tells Wike. Oil spill, Shell incidents rise 100%, 12 in 1 month, says report. Let me start with the agenda setting. So quite a number of organizations have started setting an agenda or presenting an agenda for the president-elect. MAN is one of them, and the NUT, amongst other educational stakeholders, have set the agenda. Starting with university lecturers' desires, they're saying that the welfare packages for lecturers must be improved. We can't continue to have a calendar where our lecturers can't even predict the time when school starts or ends, and their welfare is something that must be taken very seriously in the next administration. Polytechnic lecturers also said that the outgoing administration has not shown any good attitude to education at all, and there must be complete attitudinal change on the part of the new government, taking education very seriously. The parent organization, as NAPTAN, also has said that the president-elect should focus attention on education, as is the bedrock, and without education, the nation cannot move forward. And more importantly, NUT was very specific, saying that they want the budgetary allocations to the sector must be real, and there must be massive recruitment of teachers outside Lagos and a few other states. Many other states across the nation have not hired or recruited teachers in years, and they're insisting that the president-elect must ensure that other states engage teachers for education to be improved. Also, NANS, that's the National Association of Nigerian Students, also said that they would like the president-elect to prioritize education sector, which is also important. So I'm happy that many organizations are coming forward to
I have good news from Edo State. So the Edo State government backed Edo Modular Refinery has ordered supply of 150,000 barrels of crude oil to meet its demand to its growing clientele base weeks after it started operation. And according to the Special Assistant on Media Projects to the Edo State government, Kuso Osagi, he says that crude will be sourced from Oza Oil Field, which is also operated by Deca Resources Incorporation and Millennium Oil and Gas Company Limited. This Edo refinery produces 6,000 barrels a day, It has a 6,000 barrels per day capacity right now, and they're looking to expand to 21,000 barrels per day production.
Wow.
And they produce.
That's what we've been asking for now. Modular refineries. Fantastic.
They produce about 500,000 liters of diesel, 300,000 liters of naphtha, and 200,000 liters of low pour for.
Right.
So let me quickly hear the story of leadership tussle in Akure, Ondo State. A traditional leader of the Ogeloyingbo of Ayetoro in Ilajel local government area of Ondo State was sacked from his throne. Properties worth millions of naira was destroyed. 2 buildings close to the palace was destroyed. This monarch was brought in place by a court order, and he wrote a letter to the governor, Rotimi Akeredolu, alleging that his travail started when the court had already put him in power. Some people still kept trying. Mr. Oluwambe or Jagbonwumi, who is a prophet, has been working against him leaving the throne. Thankfully, he wasn't harmed because the naval officers came to rescue him from the hoodlums that were going to kidnap and harm him. So we're happy about that, but we're praying for peace within the community.
Thank you, Tokwe. That's all we can take on Front Page Review. When we come back for the hot topic of the day, stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.